This video, I want to show you the most important and powerful insight I have ever had that has allowed me to elevate my vibration to a completely new level, that has allowed me to relate to people, to synchronicities, and to opportunities in my life in a completely new way. This one idea has made me more magnetic, it's made me more attractive, it's made me more present to the moment, and I want to show you exactly how you can use this same technique to completely transform your life from the inside out. Now, first off, I want you right now to remember a time in your past when you were the happiest. Remember a time when something was going incredibly well and you were having maybe this heartfelt moment where you just felt good. As you remember that right now, or any memory of a very happy memory, I have a question for you. What were you thinking about in that moment? In that moment of happiness, what were you thinking about? What you might notice is that in that moment that you were feeling the happiest you have ever felt, or even just the memories you can remember right now of feeling happy, you probably weren't thinking of anything. What if the more we are thinking, the less happy we are, and the more we are in flow and the more present we are and the less thoughts there are, the happier we are and the higher vibration we are. This is why I believe many enlightened teachers have said that the key to enlightenment is actually becoming empty. They say that enlightenment is a realization, not something you attain. And enlightenment is like the highest level of vibration you can imagine someone having. And Buddha himself said that it has to do with becoming empty. I don't know if that was a direct quote. You imagine in a book it says, it has to do with becoming empty. But nonetheless, this has been a game changer for me. And even when I think to my awakening back in 2012, there was this relationship to my thinking. And this is really what this video is about, is what is your relationship with thinking and what is your relationship with thoughts? These are two different things. And the difference that this is will change everything about your energy. Because ultimately, you are in a way, vibrationally and energetically speaking, sort of like an antenna. Each one of us, we are tuned to different frequencies, and these different frequencies we are tuned to have a big impact on our vibration. Now, back in 2012, I went through that awakening where I began observing my thoughts. And when I began observing my thoughts, and the game changer wasn't just like trying to control my thinking, because that actually made the thinking worse. What I started to do is to observe what I was thinking and allow it to be there. That's one of the biggest game changers. You don't try to control. But what happened over the course of like a week or two, I went from feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, solid 3, not so great, to a solid 7 out of 10 where I literally felt high majority of the time. And I thought it was too good to be true. I remember walking around the room that I was living in, wondering, when is this feeling going to go away? Like I was afraid. I wanted to hold on to it. And the truth is, that became my natural base point. Yes, it still fluctuates. I'm not saying I'm enlightened. Let me get that clear. But what I am saying is there was a very powerful jump in vibration that happened when I learned how to observe my thoughts. Because by observing my thoughts, I created more spaciousness inside of myself. And that's why I started to feel differently. Now, when it comes to understanding this, at lower levels of vibration, we identify completely with our thoughts. We think negative thoughts, we think anger, we think guilt, we think shame. We literally believe we are our thoughts. And that's what keeps us entrenched in that vibration. And then we attract people and synchronicities into our life that reflect back that attachment to thoughts. But for you to really raise your vibration, the key is to let go and to actually think less. And what's interesting is as you observe your thoughts and the thoughts begin to go away, because you're just letting them be there, you start to pick up on higher vibrational thoughts in a way like the thoughts of the divine. Think of it like you're an antenna of energy And there's thought forms. This is getting a little bit more esoteric. But imagine there's thought forms all around inside your energetic field, which science has shown that there's an electromagnetic energetic field that goes beyond our body. Now what happens is there's an accumulation of our thoughts and our emotions within our energetic field. So many times you may go out into the world, you may meet someone else, you may feel triggered, and as you feel triggered, you think they're making you feel triggered. But what may actually be happening, and normally is happening, is there's a thought form in your energetic field that's being activated because it's rubbing up against someone else. So you say that you're doing this to me, but in fact, it's still within your energetic field. Now, when there is thinking, which is different than thoughts, which I'll explain in a moment, there is a repetitive cycling of thoughts going in your energetic field. And many of those thoughts aren't even your own. You may pick up the thoughts from your parents. You may pick up the thoughts from society. You may pick up the thoughts from the news, the media. You may pick up the thoughts by going out in public. But the only way those thoughts really tether to you is when they're active within your field. And what happens is then they kind of attach. It's kind of a metaphor and kind of also, there's books on this. There was one book called Thought Forms that kind of talks about this idea. But the idea is that we have energetic momentum of thoughts within our energetic field. And most people are so attached to their thinking that they stay with that momentum around their field. And the key to really experiencing more love and more abundance is not more thoughts. Like you might listen to certain teachers that say, just think better thoughts, think better thoughts. What I'm saying is you can think better thoughts than other thoughts, and it feels better to feel other thoughts, I guess, than the lower vibrational ones. But the less you think, the higher your vibration goes and the more you're present to the moment. Because remember, the happiest you've ever been, you probably weren't thinking of anything. You were probably present to the moment. Like if you were making love, for example, it's like, what are you thinking about? You're probably not thinking about anything. You're probably present to the moment. If you were to be in a great flow state, doing what you love, you're probably not thinking of anything, but you probably feel more alive. That's really the key to understanding your energy and understanding your own magnetic frame. When people are doing what they love and they're in a certain flow state, they have a certain magnetism to it. There's a certain alignment there. So thinking and your relationship to thoughts is the cause of all suffering. I know Buddha said that attachment is the root of all suffering. That too. But also, the root of all suffering is attachment to thinking, which is different than thoughts. Now, what is the difference between thinking and thoughts? This was a game changer when I learned it. Thinking is a verb. It's something you do. You are thinking. You are taking the thoughts in your energetic field and you are running it through and you are using them. And you're normally then identified with the mind. Thoughts are nouns. They just exist. Remember, many of the thoughts you think may not be your thoughts. They may be the thoughts of your family, your friends, the expectations of your parents, might be the media, maybe the thought forms of the society, it may be going out in public. So your relationship to thinking and relationship thoughts is you can, instead of thinking thoughts, you can observe the thoughts and not have them run you. And this is why, by the way, when you think of your energetic field, if you're on social media 8 hours a day, scrolling nonstop, putting everyone else's, like comparing yourself to other people, you're watching toxic television shows or Jerry Springer. No one watches Jerry Springer nowadays. I doubt it. However, no judgment if you do though. However, that fuels up your energetic field, especially if you are attached to what you are thinking. And normally part of the attachment to thinking is you want to be right about things, want to be the payoffs you get from thinking. If drama feels exciting, but drama feels exciting because it's also a distraction from the real you. Now, funny enough, interestingly enough, anytime I get into a flow state, things just come through for me. Like, it's like that for people that get into a flow state, like you as well. I'm not saying I'm some special snowflake. Like I went live yesterday on Instagram. I set up these 2 cameras. I put up the the iPhone, and I went live on Instagram and then filmed it from these two different camera angles. And I was trying to think of like, what is the first thing I'm going to say once I go live? And I really couldn't figure it out because I was thinking. And I was thinking about what's called a hook. What is the very first thing I'm going to say that's going to get people to, because the interesting thing about Instagram is even if I have the most epic Instagram ever, but it took me 5 minutes to get into a flow state, it's like people don't see it unless the hook was very, very good in the beginning. So I'm like, importance on the hook. Thinking. What is the good hook? And then eventually, I didn't have that great of a hook, to be honest, because I was thinking. Then I start the Instagram, and within a couple minutes of the flow state, I'm no longer thinking. I'm now present to the moment. I'm now engaging with the people in the comment section, and there's all this really awesome content coming through. And I realized I work better when I think less. But then there's times I compare myself to other people, to other YouTube channels. I'm like, I should be doing better, thinking. But you know when everything flows the best for me is when I'm not thinking at all. It's when I am being. It's when I am in a flow state. When I'm not doing something as a means to an end, I'm doing it for an end of itself. Now, what I've noticed about my own energetic field, and one of the reasons I believe meditation is one of the most important and powerful things for really creating what you want in your life and even having magnetic energy, is the quality of your thoughts and your relationship to your thoughts, and even having less thoughts, will make you more attractive, will make you more magnetic, and also will resonate with higher, I guess you could say, vibrational people, higher vibrational opportunities. So it's not about thinking better thoughts. It's about thinking less thoughts. And remember, thinking and thoughts are two different things. Thinking is the act of thinking, trying to figure things out, attachment to thoughts, thinking, figuring it out, anxiety, all of these emotions. When you are looking and observing thoughts, you don't have to be thinking. And these thoughts are nouns. They're just these things. They may not even be yours. There's no need to try to figure things out. They just may be these neutral things, these thought forms floating around, maybe in your energetic field. Now, the interesting thing is the less thinking you have, the more those thoughts begin to detach and leave your energetic field, leaving you with a more pure energy where you can then pick up on higher vibrational thoughts, higher vibrational ideas from the divine. Like me making videos every single day on YouTube, which was what I used to do for like 4 years. People would ask me, where do you get these topics? Where do you get these ideas? How do you get this content? Because I can't make videos if I script it out completely. It's very hard for me. And nowadays, sometimes it's like, you need to like package the video a certain way and have this really good title and this hook and this thumbnail. And the way that I work though is like I get in front of the camera, I push the button, and then I just kind of see what comes through. So it's very hard for me to say, okay, what's the title of this video going to be? What's the thumbnail of this video going to be? What's the hook going to be? I just kind of get in the flow state and it comes through. That's just the way I create content. Not saying I'm special or you can't do it or anything else. Some people work differently. I have friends, by the way, that work really well with the more like analytical look of like what they're going to say at certain points. And that's great for them. But the awareness for me is that the less I think, the better it is for me. The more I'm in a flow state. And also, the more I committed to the daily videos, it was like the universe sent me more ideas every day to continue that momentum. But I had to take the first step. I had to commit to that. So for you, one of the things that may be the key for you to really transform your life more than anything else is to observe and to become aware of your thinking versus your thoughts. Because ultimately, as well, everything in our life is fundamentally neutral except for the meaning we give things. A rainy day is not good or bad. It depends on you. What meaning do you give it? What thoughts do you choose to think? And as you become aware of this, you can then see that anytime someone says, I feel this way, I feel bad because it's rainy. Well, what is your belief about rain? And you can use this towards anything. What is your belief about people? What is your belief about men? What is your belief about women? What is your belief? Whatever your belief is, generates the feeling. If you were to ask 100 people about money, you want to know how many answers you would get from that? Not 5. You'd get literally 100 different interpretations of what money is, because everyone has a different meaning and therefore probably also has a different result in their life from money, depending on that meaning. So the reason I say that is because the relationship you have with thinking, if you believe you are your thoughts, things become very heavy. If you believe you are your emotions, you can get trapped. If you believe you are all of these things, that's where you feel trapped. When you realize, though, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you are infinite awareness. You have more of a connection to the divine. So realize you may think thoughts, you may feel emotions, you may have beliefs, but you're not any of those things. This is where the higher vibrational energy will flow through your body, because normally people walk around believing this is who I am. I am a 9-to-5 job goer. I am someone with a crazy past. I am this. I feel guilt. I feel shame. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. There's a belief I'm not worthy. If you believe you are the thought, you will literally think you're not worthy. When in fact, people for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years have felt not worthy. It's a common collective consciousness belief within our collective consciousness. And the freedom, breaking out of the matrix, is literally realizing you may think thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. You may be thinking, but you don't have to be thinking so much. You can create more space. And as you create more space, you create a lighter vibration inside of your body. Now, something that I did create recently is a complete course called High Vibe 101. It is completely free. It is literally a $1,000 course that I've released for free in my community called High Vibe Tribe, which is also free. It shows you step-by-step how to meditate, step-by-step how to observe your thoughts. I give you meditations for doing so every day to make it a daily practice. I show you how to observe your beliefs and let them go, how to raise your vibration by forgiveness. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever created, and it's free, and you can get it by clicking the link below and joining High Vibe Tribe. It's called High Vibe 101. Now, also, if you really want to take this to the next level, what you want to begin doing is developing a commitment to your own energetic field. So when you think of this, realize the repetitive thoughts you think, the feelings you feel, the emotions you have, the beliefs you have, observing them and not buying into them is the key to creating that separation. Questioning them. Back in the day, I used to believe I had ADHD because I was told that by a doctor and I took Adderall for it. I started questioning that. I reframed it and I began walking it in grass. I'm not saying this works for every medical condition, by the way. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying I started questioning everything about myself. That's called self-inquiry. That's where you start to break free. But understand that you, at your core essence, are a part of the divine. You are connected to the divine. And the quality of your thoughts will actually affect what you experience, but the less thoughts you think and the more you're in flow should be the main purpose that you go towards. So understand that you can have the ability to completely shift your life from the inside out by committing to observing your thoughts every day, by committing to, instead of thinking, observing your thoughts and understanding that as you commit to a flow state, you will find yourself in higher vibrational energy, and as a response, you will then get new people, new synchronicities, and new opportunities into your life as a reflection. So with that being said, if you want a meditation as well that will help you with this, go ahead and check this meditation out right here. I'll see you in the next one.
Will change your dominant vibration permanently. Your vibration